All right, we're going to hope that the third time is the charm here. I think we have figured out what the issue is with the audio. Brand new mic, and the mic has got massive issues. Circle with the OG that has been with me for multiple other broadcasts. I think we'll be okay now, so that part is good. With me now, that he can actually hear me, which is great. It's not every 3 words, or as Tony called it, hey, you're like the Matrix right now, dude. Like, what the hell are you doing? Which has been awesome and super not frustrating at all. That's the joys of going live on there. But I will say that Digital Dealer last year, I was getting ready to go live, and I popped my shoulder out and tore a bunch of stuff. So it could be worse. Rich. So I've got Rich Sands with me from the one and only Stella, because Eric couldn't hear me, so we don't really know what came through. So I'm going to hand the mic over to you, and I just want to know, this has been an awesome conference thus far, as always. Like MRC, Palm Beach, I'm going to keep saying this, we're at the Dealer Funnel booth, and it has just been so much knowledge is being dropped right now. So what are some of your takeaways in the last day-ish?
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for having me here too. I appreciate it, and congrats on your amazing show. I love listening in. So yeah, this show is on fire. I got to tell you that there's so much content, as you mentioned, being discussed. It's all breakthrough content on the topics of the day and what's happening in our amazing industry. And I think it starts with people, right? The people here are so smart and so dedicated to this industry, which is about what Stella's all about too. We are all about elevating that human interaction, that human relationship between dealer and the consumer. And we focus everything around that consumer journey. And this industry is getting smarter and better about how we do that. Some big takeaways for me are, what is the future of CDPs? Where do they plug in? How do you plug them in to optimize, to drive action? CDP data, fantastic. DMS data can be dirty. Marrying those two together can be a huge improvement. And then you have this new amazing thing called AI, which you hear about everywhere here. It's just like an AI show. There you go, right there. And with Stella, that's what we are all about, right? So we developed a very consumer-centric product that helps a much more efficient path for a consumer to accomplish the desired task that they want to engage with the dealer on, whether it be scheduling a service appointment or asking FAQ hours. And then with our new and exciting products that are coming out with our receptionist product, so it's the whole front end of the dealership. This is a spot on to be able to free up the time for a dealer to then go do additional elevated conversations with the consumers.
I love that. And if you can't see right now, he also has a speaker badge. So we got to ask about that. Talk about your session a little bit. Maybe don't have to give the whole thing away, but talk about your session a little bit here.
Great. Yeah, sat on an amazing panel this morning talking about where AI fits and some of the challenges in the future of AI, especially for dealership. And so I found it extremely exciting to talk about where we are, where we're going, how we can apply that to a dealer's space. Some of the questions from the audience, and Brian did a great job to extract that, is so some dealers may still be a little hesitant to go and use AI, and that's completely understandable and normal. I think once they experience Stella and they hear how human-like, it's a natural conversation AI, there's no delay, there's no latency, so it's a real nice dynamic back and forth with the consumer. And there's a lot of entry points. You can start with nights and weekends where it's just better than a voicemail. Like who calls a dealership saying, oh, please give me the voicemail. I can't wait to talk to a voicemail. No. So we were able to provide a much more dynamic, interactive solution. And then typically what we see is Stella then gets moved into the daytime operating hours, because it's such a huge workload reduction on your staff, both your service advisors, your BDC, because now the AI is answering 50 to 75% of all the inbound questions. We've seen workload reduction like 82%. Taking time, taking on that workload for your staff, and giving your staff the desired time that they need to go do value-add, consumer-centric, revenue-generating activities.
I love everything about that. And Eric was on earlier, and we were talking about how AI can get a little creepy sometimes. So you're like, hey, we all thought, he was saying that, we thought that this was going to be a great thing. It's automatically addressing, hey, Brooke, it's so great to see you. And some people were like, whoa, slow your roll. We're not okay with that. So I was an interesting take. And I was talking to another colleague about another tool that is very good at knowing exactly where the consumer is at any given point, and which that's great. It's a little scary as hell. Let's be honest, a little scary. And so I don't know if you want to talk to that at all.
Well, first of all, yeah, that's not the intent whatsoever, right? I do understand where that comes from. And there's a lot of, let's call them open source AI platforms that have a lot of different information that comes in, because the AI basically knows what it's seen, heard, read, or was input into the system. With Stella, we're completely separate. We have our own private AI platform. It was custom built over 8+ years, is heavily tested and fortified, so there's no outside influence that goes into that system, number one. Meaning, if you're some AI systems are simply apps that sit on top of a large technology company's GBT system. For us, though, we have our own private one, so being able to control that environment is key. The second thing is how we configure that at the rooftop level. It's important that Stella is configured to protect the brand policies, the brand dialogue that you want to protect at the brand level, but also make it very configurable at the rooftop level. And what we've seen is the dealers really enjoy that high level of configuration, so that if you want to pick up on the first ring like Stella does and welcome the guest by name, you can do that, or you can opt not to if that's too creepy, if you want to use that word. We can also configure that so it's more natural, and maybe you pick up their name after the first sentence or two and deeper into the conversation. But being able to make it a human-like experience without trying to trick the consumer into thinking that you're talking to a person. It's really important that they know, and we do announce this as a digital assistant, Stella. And then based on the tone of the voice and very pleasant, positive tone, the customer starts to engage in this two-way dialogue, which results in the customer accomplishing their desired task.
I love it. And one thing I always like to add on that is that you touched on this in the very beginning, how you guys own your AI, if I heard you correctly on that. And to a lot of companies out there, it doesn't matter if it's our industry or another industry, a couple of things you want to always ask is like, one, do you own the AI? Because there's so much data that's going into that and so much that's being gleaned from that. If that company doesn't own it, I would caution just a little bit. How much are you putting your client at risk? And the other thing is, if a company is saying they don't use AI, it's most likely the reason is, not all, this doesn't go for everybody, but a lot of companies are actually still using AI, but have said, wait, we can't make it public facing at this point because of legal reasons. So there's so much to unpack with AI. You all know that I've done multiple shows on AI. I'm a big fan of it. Use it all the time. Would have loved to use it today to figure out why the hell the audio wasn't working, but we got to that on the human aspect. But also understand you're the human in the entire interaction. So whether that's with Stella, hey, I want to talk to someone, whether that's I'm using the chaos that's ensued in a very good way with ChatGPT 4 Turbo and having all these and plugins, you're still the human in the situation, which that to me is something that's so big. I hear all the time. I'm like, oh, it doesn't have AI. I'm like, but does it or doesn't it? Have you done enough investigation to figure out, is it the reason that we can't put it public facing, or they're really not using AI?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the question boils down to, how do you want to use AI? How do you apply it in your business? And the most important thing is you got to do it in a way that is comfortable for your staff, comfortable for your guests, so that it's a positive, pleasant experience. Owning your own AI and being able to use, for example, Stella, means that your data is not going anywhere. All dealer data stays with the dealer. We don't send that data anywhere. It doesn't go into some large analytic platform that can be used against you. It just stays inside your four walls, SOC 2 certified, so we've got all the proper certifications in place to handle that data, and then it stays with you, and you can really focus on the life cycle journey of your customer and being able to retain customers, which is what this is all about. Conquest and attract, and then once you are having a conversation, a relationship with the customer, then we retain that customer, and we use AI where applicable, but also use and enhance, like I mentioned, to elevate that conversation where human to human where applicable.
And once again, thank you for that, because that human aspect is so big and we forget about that so often. All right, so I got to know, is there a session? Is there something, whether it's you've already went to it or it's coming up, you're like, hey, one, I want to attend. That's question number 1. Which one do am I really wanting to go and learn about? Number 2, has there been a big surprise? Like, hey, I was going in thinking I was going to learn X, but holy shnikes, it was something completely different.
Yeah, I've got to give it up to Kevin Fry yesterday. We if you're in this session yesterday, Kevin Fry, Joe Fowler, he hit on a key point no one saw coming, which is what are your customers expecting when they call a dealership? And to everyone's surprise in there, he did a live interview with some of their guests, and a lot of their guests that come into their dealerships actually prefer interacting with an AI because it gets the question answered fast and efficiently. It's a combination of phone and text, omni-channel, but it seems like a lot of people right now are coming back to phones. This is like going back, 10, 15 years, and phones were a thing, and then everyone moved to text and then to web forms, and we basically learned in that session that web forms are dead. Do not use web forms. It just creates a very negative customer experience. and get those people on the phone, which is what they prefer. And by the percentages you threw on the board were pretty significant, how many people prefer the phone. And so you got to win the phone. And so winning the phone is a combination of staffing and having the right combination of staff at the right time. Before I took the job at Sell, I did some little market review test with a dealership in the Detroit area. I went and met with them. They were doing something like 5,000 phone calls inbound per month. And the dealer just turned and asked me, how many calls do you think we miss? Like miss, like voicemail or abandonment. And I'm like, I don't know, 10%. He said 43%. So it's a problem. This is where AI really can make sure that you never miss a call. We capture every call, we record it, transcribe it, we put a positive, negative sentiment against it, so you can see what's happening with your guests all the time. And winning the phone is so key, because that's where the guests are typically calling you from, whether it's in their car or mobile. But and being able to be in that place and win and using AI in a smart way is very effective, very efficient, and it also, again, elevates that human-to-human interaction, which is what this industry is all about. It's a people-based industry, and we want your staff interacting with your guests on topics that they want to interact with your guests on, and your guests want to interact with your dealership on their terms. Like, how do they want to interact with your dealership, and when and where? Is it after 5:01 p.m. or 6:01? They still want to be able to talk and interact and accomplish their tasks. So we find it fascinating where this is now and where this is going, and to be right in the leading edge and basically just defining the space is really exciting.
I love that. And you brought up earlier, I just want to touch this a little bit, is the voicemail portion. Okay, first off, we all know that our voicemails get transcribed to us. People a lot of times aren't even checking their voicemail, and that is so frustrating. And it doesn't matter. It's not just in our industry. I was trying to book essential. That's, I had like 90 minutes of sleep. So that's not, I don't know what word I was going for. It's essential mixed with something else there. That's what I know for sure. And I just need to quickly book this. And I didn't get a call back, not even an acknowledgement. So I tried again. I was like, okay, I'll call you again, leave a voicemail, nada enchilada. I was like, what is going on right now? And you take that into our industry, that especially, and you all know I love service, a big fixed ops fan. How often are you, and it doesn't matter if it's just fixed, I'll take it back anywhere. Do you even know how to access your voicemail? Probably not. I hear that so often. Wait, hold up. We have voicemail? What is this sorcery? Like, we had no idea. Like, do you have it on your phone? Like, of course you do. You may not check it because it's being transcribed to you, but that is something that's so frustrating. Like, you're not going to check your voicemail. Just turn it off, for the love. Just turn it off, because all you're doing is making the consumer insanely frustrated, and that trust level has completely went down, and they don't want to do business with you. Like, I personally, I'm not going back to the place where they just, I end up calling 3 times and just gave up. So I love that you touched on that.
Sure. I mean, the reality is the AI is going to be able to handle everything the AI can handle. And then when it goes to transfer to a human being, if that human being doesn't pick up, then what do you do with your call? You do not want to abandon them. You never want to leave them alone. So by being able to transcribe the calls, you're now capturing the most important information that they want, but then you're not just sitting on it like in some static voicemail sitting out there. It's actionable. It's going into a workflow engine that gets routed and alerted to the right people at the right time to take action. And that's the part that we love about what we built, is because no matter what happens along that customer journey path, the AI is going to assist, or someone in your staff can assist, or if it does end up in that worst case scenario of having to go to a quote unquote voicemail, it's being transcribed and acted upon quickly, so that the guest never feels abandoned or left, wondering what happened, or if they're ever going to call me back. The other thing is we can switch between omni-channels. So what's really fascinating is you're going to see us announce here soon the ability to go from phone to text, back to phone, all seamlessly. So you don't have to restart the conversation back over when you go to text. You can just be driving along, having a conversation with the dealer, and then you got to drop the kids off or something, and then you can move over to text and continue the conversation with the AI, then jump back into phone. So that's going to be a really interesting part of Roadmap, where you just maintain that ongoing dialogue. It's a beautiful conversation that you're having with your dealership. You're in this relationship to accomplish this task, and then you move forward, and then can book the service appointment or sales or whatever your task is out there. So it's really exciting.
So I just want to make this clear. So I actually did not know this. So this is really cool that you're able to do that, because too often the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, right? We all know this. We're very aware that it's super, super frustrating to all of us. So now, like you said, that just makes it so much more seamless. We've got Modern Retail Conference here, right? So yeah, we are talking about modern retailing, but so much of this conference is going to be about the customer experience. And what is that? if we're making it that much more difficult for them to be, well, I was talking to you, now I'm going to start, I want to text you. Well, hold on, let me go to my 17 chat forms that I have and figure out which one I need to text you on. And I'm not really sure. Oh, by the way, none of that was in the CRM, so we don't know what the hell's going on in life. So I love the fact that you're able to do that. And that's, thank you. So I'm going to say thank you for that one. Any other like highlights or anything you want to talk about?
So I really think the future of this data becoming actionable, all the different CDP providers here, some of the technology here, I think what we're going to see is a big push here in the next probably 3 to 6 months of a lot of integrations where that data becomes much more actionable. And I think you're going to see smart companies being able to connect with smart dealers, which is how we were designed and funded, to be honest, and being able to accomplish these types of simple customer-centric activities so that you're always maintaining that relationship on the customer's terms, how they want to be interacted with at the frequency and the pace. And then with the technology advancements that we're making and this industry is making, we're going to see some significant increase in the bottom line results for these dealers. And what we're putting forth is some real hard measurable facts. So you can say, let me show me my business before, Stella, and show me my business after. And I think that's a really powerful statement to be able to see and look at the real hard data to see how much workload reduction, how much activity we were able to take on for your dealership and represent your dealership in a really special way, the way you would want to hire someone to represent your dealership, with the tone and the attitude and the words you speak and the how you interact with the guests over the phone. So it's all starting to come together, and it's a super exciting space to be here at this time.
Rich, I just thank you so much for that. It's been I think it's the first time we've met, so it's been so great to get to know you. And obviously, I'm a fan of Stella. I'm a big fan of Stella here, but it's been just great to know you. And then just the insight, like to ask those questions, figure out what's going on, understand your process. Well, yes, Stella's a great product. It's figuring out, okay, how does this best integrate with our people, our process, and then ding, 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 product over here. So really take the time to figure that out. And if you have another one, once again, just keep asking questions. The more questions you ask, the better you're going to be. And honestly, the better the other company is going to be. So I just can't thank you enough for being here. Super, super appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Congrats on the show again. Thanks for having me here. It's been great. It's been a great conference. Everyone's here, and it's a lot of energy in the room. So it's really exciting to be here. Thanks, Brooke.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us. Like I said, third time with a charm. We got the mic working here, so we're all good. And we'll be back here in a little bit. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye.